What's up, guys? In today's video, we're going to be testing EXM's premium tweaking utility versus RisxnTweaks Extreme Panel. Both claim that it can lower ping, increase FPS, and decrease delay. The EXM's premium tweaking utility comes in at €29.99. RisxnTweaks is 30 USD. €29.99 is about 31.50 USD, so the Exm tweak is $1.50 more. For our testing grounds, we are going to be testing all of this on a i7 10700F CPU and a 1660 Super. Also 16 gigabytes of DDR4 RAM running at 3000 megahertz speed. All these tests will be done on the same grounds on a fresh installed Windows, and the only things being installed are the Epic Games Launcher, the Fortnite game, OBS, Discord. Before we get on with testing, I would like to get a basis of our default performance before we optimize on either Windows. And I'd also like to clarify, I have not been sponsored or given any type of tweak for this test. I had to pay full price for both tweaks. I paid the full $31.50 for EXM, and I actually was able to get a 10% off on RisxnTweaks. So it saved me like $3. You know, that means I paid $27 for that. So almost a $5 difference, which doesn't really mean anything. But yeah, let's see. Our default processes are 167. Mind you, I do have OBS and Edge open. Our memory is at 4.1. Doesn't really matter. Our network speed for our buffer bloat is actually a D. Not very good. We have 36 millisecond delay on our upload, 82 on our download. Our speed test by Okla is 331 download and 75 upload. Now, let's get on with the performance in Fortnite. You see in our top left, we have our charts. I just want to also clarify, settings will be the same for every test. Full screen, 1920 by 1080p, unlimited frame rate, obviously performance mode, all low 3D resolution to 0, all replays off, all power saving off. Let's get into this. As you see, we have our max, average, minimum, and 1% low FPS. We're at around 50% GPU usage and 20% CPU usage, and around 8 gigabytes of RAM. Average, around 320 FPS. Not even bad. 60% usage on the GPU, yeah. Alright. Well, I'm just going to free build for about a couple minutes, and we're going to see the stats after. After free building for about 3 minutes, we can see our results here. Our minimum FPS was 160, with an average of 295. Our maximum FPS reach was 559 FPS, and our 1% low is about around 120. These are actually pretty good, considering my specs. We're at 18 ping, 22 ping, around 20 ping, but this is a private, so that will always be low. Now that we have a baseline for our benchmarks, I guess, let's start testing. Alright, our first test will be with EXM Premium Tweaking Utility. Let's go ahead and open it up. Okay, we have a lot of stuff. Okay, tells me my system info. Wow, actually tells me my BIOS key. Pretty cool. Patch notes update. This is all very useful stuff. And of course, an abundance of tweaks we can do. So I will do every tweak possible for my system with my NVIDIA GPU and my Intel CPU. I will not be doing any BIOS. No, they don't have any BIOS tweaks. Okay. Let's just start with it. Okay. I just got done doing every possible setting I could do, and wow, I am very impressed with the amount of tweaks I have here. It probably took me a good 8 minutes just to do all of this, reading about everything. This is very, very impressive. Lots and lots. I even have network tweaks for Wi-Fi. I really haven't seen that before. I'm very, very impressed, but we will see how this actually performs in game. So let's go to those benchmarks. Okay, I started recording as soon as I restarted my computer. I have added this nice Exm wallpaper. Looks pretty good. Let's close Discord. Let's see our performance now after the optimizations. We are at 78 processes. We do have OBS open, so that is taking up, only 302 processes. We're at 2.4 gigahertz, gigabytes usage of memory. Pretty impressed. I'm a little disappointed in our process count, but I do understand they don't want to break anything. Let's go ahead and get a network test right now. Okay, I just got done running the network benchmarks, and it is very disappointing to say the least. I don't know if this is just how they have to do it to optimize your ping in game. We will see if my ping is any different, but our buffer bloat is the exact same at a D. And our latency is just about the same. I'm sure it's a margin of error. I don't think it changed at all. But what I'm very worried about is our actual download and upload speed. We had 331 download speed before we optimized and 75 upload. We are now at 38 download and 4 upload. This is kind of concerning, if I'm going to be honest, but we will see my ping. And for the buffer bloat, I don't know if this is just because I have bad internet or what. But let's go on and actually test our game performance now after this optimization. Once again, I am in full screen 1920 by 1080, unlimited FPS, all low, 3D resolution is 0, replays off, performance or power saving off. I need to let the average load up, just from, let's go. We're at 60% GPU usage, which I believe is about the same whenever I'm building. We're spiking up to 70, that's normal. Our RAM looks like it's half a gigabyte less, pretty good. Our CPU is around 30%, which is about the same from before. 1% lows, and our minimum, I believe, are bugged. Just because I'm tapping in and out, I will fix that on our final test. Let me free build for about 2 to 3 minutes and see if our FPS increased or not. I had just got done free building for about 3 minutes, almost 4 minutes. And I am not very happy. I thought our 1% low and our minimum was a glitch. Usually, whenever you're actually running, you'll see it go up from oh my goodness, your maximum FPS going up. But this is just a case of I actually did drop to 0 FPS while I was in here. A huge stutter. You can also see our FPS, our frame rate. It's not going above 300 that much. I believe on our stock it was going above 300 pretty consistently. Our average FPS is 243 on our stock, completely stock Windows 10. It was 295. Our maximum frame rate is only 353. We reached 559 on the stock OS. However, our ping is significantly lower, about 2 to 8 ping lower. It doesn't really go above 20. That isn't a win. Our RAM usage is also down a gigabyte at sometimes, and our CPU and GPU uses are just about the same. I wonder if this is just a case of Exm has too many tweaks they're trying to shove into one system. I guess you can say it's a bottleneck of tweaks. You have too many and it starts negatively impacting your system. I really wanted this to work. I love their UI. I love all their tweaks. There's so many. But let's move over to RisxnTweaks and see if they can do any better. Okay, our next test will be with RisxnTweaks Extreme Panel. This has a guide. That's nice. Social media, of course. And of course my PC specs. Doesn't give me a BIOS key like the last one, Just thought that was very cool from EXM. I've never seen that before. Our CPU usage, RAM usage, sorry, and our ping. Not very good internet. We definitely don't have as okay. We definitely don't have as many tabs as EXM, but we do. Okay, we definitely don't have as many tweaks as EXM. EXM was almost overwhelming with the amount of tweaks, but looks like we have pretty much similar tweaks. We actually have actual Ethernet tweaks here. Unfortunately, I won't be able to do these. I kind of found it weird that XM did not have any just Ethernet tweaks, but then they did it for Ethernet and Wi-Fi. But I guess it's cool that you could tweak your Wi-Fi. So unfortunately, we won't be able to do any of these. D below, yeah, okay. UI is pretty nice. All right, well, now I'm just going to go ahead and do everything I can for my system. And yeah, I just got done doing every tweak I could possibly do for my system. And I'm going to go ahead and restart my computer, and let's see the performance increase that we got. Okay, I started recording as soon as I turned on my computer. Let's go ahead and see our performance increase. Okay, right off the bat, we're at 63 processes. On our stock OS, we were at 67, and we're now at 63. On our EXM Windows, we were at 78 processes, so we were about 15 processes down. Not too bad. I believe our memory usage is the exact same from EXM, and it's about 2 gigabytes down from our stock Windows. Let's go ahead and run a speed test on Wi-Fi. After our speed test, we were at 322 download speed and 81 upload speed. On our stock OS, we had 331 download speed, 75 upload. However, this is just margin of error. I don't think these actually change. It will vary every time you do it. I believe that's the same. However, after our EXM tweaks, our download speed was 38 megabytes a second, and our upload was 4. So this gets 2 points for processes and, our download speed not tanking. But however, in EXM's defense, Ryzen Tweaks has no optimization for Wi-Fi. They just don't support it. Let's go ahead and run a buffer bloat test, and I'll see what this is. We are done with our buffer bloat test, and it is still a D. It was a D after our EXM and a D on our stock OS. I had no expectations for this changing. I kind of had some hopes for EXM because all of their internet tweaks were supported Wi-Fi and Ethernet, but it's whatever. With that out of the way, let's go and test our in-game performance. Okay, I just got into the game, and let's go ahead and check our performance with the Ryzen Tweaks. We are at 50% GPU usage, 30% CPU usage, and we're just about a gigabyte lower on our RAM usage from our stock OS, and maybe 200 megabytes under EXM. I think that's just margin of error though. Our minimum is looking pretty good at 220. Our average is already well above 300 just getting in here. Our max is at 593, and our 1% low is above 200. But I expect most of this stuff to change after I free build. Also want to clarify, all of my settings are the same for both tests. Replace off, power saving off. Oh, that's good. Our ping is also just above 20, 22, dipping below 20 pretty consistently. That is to a ping better, exact same as EXM, which is pretty nice considering the fact that there was no official Wi-Fi tweaks. I think that there was some other Wi-Fi tweaks just built into the other tweaks, but they just didn't say that on there. But let me free build for 2 to 3 minutes just to average all of these numbers out and get a more how do I say this? Just a clear answer for the true performance increase of Ryzen Tweaks. Alright, we got 50% GPU usage, 30% CPU usage. Just margin error for our RAM usage, it's up a little bit. Let's go ahead and take a look at our actual FPS test though. Our minimum FPS was 192. On our stock OS, that was 160, up 32 FPS. And on the XM, it was 0. Very big stutter. We had our frame average is up a respectable amount considering how MSI Afterburner calculates their average. It's on our stock OS we're at 195, and on our EXM tweaked OS we're at 243. On this one we were at above 300, 313, probably around 310 just because I've been standing here for a second. And our maximum is 593. On our stock it was 559. So that went up, and on our EXM tweaked OS, it was 353, which is, if I just look up, I'm basically getting that already. If I dance while I look up, yeah, in the 400s. So that is a very big increase, and of course our 1% lows on our stock were 120, and on here they are 169, and on our EXM tweak they were 0. Very big stutter. Our ping is very similar to EXM and down 2 to 8 from our stock OS. Yeah, that is our performance on our from our Ryzen test on Fortnite. Okay, I'm back on my normal OS, and to conclude our EXM tweaks versus RisxnTweaks testing, the winner is RisxnTweaks in every category possible. EXM didn't get a single point over RisxnTweaks, and RisxnTweaks got 6 points over the stock OS and 8 points over EXM. EXM generally made my FPS and FPS and download speed and upload speed worse from my stock OS, which I want to say is unacceptable. They have 160,000 people on their server. If you're a new buyer and you're going to, I'm assuming lots and lots of people getting into tweaking are going to EXM just because of their publicity and their large scale. But to have the download and upload speed problems, that is definitely a major problem. And our 1% lows and minimums being 0. Huge stutters even after I let the GPU shader cache build up. That's not good. RisxnTweaks had the same download and upload speed as stock OS. Lower processes from the stock OS and the EXM tweaked OS, sorry. It also had better frame minimums, frame average, frame maxes, and our 1% lows were better they were better on the Ryzen tweaked OS. They're better from the stock OS and the EXM tweaked OS. Yeah, to conclude this, RisxnTweaks is the clear winner. Kind of disappointed, honestly. I thought EXM was going to win. They had so many tweaks. It looked very nice. Their publicity. But no. RisxnTweaks with 15,000 Discord members did win. I'm sorry for this interruption. I know I said I was done, but I just found something I'm very concerned about. I was just looking through the server again and all this stuff. I was looking through EXM server, Ryzen server, and on EXM's website, they're telling you what comes with it, and I'm just like, what's going on? I didn't get an in-depth BIOS optimization. I didn't get a device manager optimizations, group policy editor optimizations, monitor optimizations, security I never got any of this stuff on the actual tweaking panel. And I go to look at their Discord, and it's not on the file that you get this stuff. It's on their Discord. Where's that? On their customers. Yeah, it's here. Extra tweaks. So I just don't feel like it's right to advertise something when it's not actually in what you're getting. You have to do this yourself. This is not the case with RisxnTweaks. this is not the case. It tells you. Where does it tell you? Yeah. Full details. Yeah, here we go. Better all tab. Sound optimization. You know, all of this is in the file. This isn't in some Discord channel where you have to do it yourself. This is all in the file. And the fact that this is claiming that it has 440 plus tweaks, and Exm is claiming they have over 16,000 and they still lost. It's embarrassing. This needs to be fixed instantly. Yeah. And look at this. It even tells you that it's gonna get updated and stuff, so you'll have all of that. And another thing that I found out for Exm, if you want a new key, let's say you get a virus on your computer, you corrupt your Windows, and yes, if you need to get new Windows, you have to pay to get essentially a hardware ID, a new hardware ID for your key. All Ryzen Tweaks, that's all free, which is nice. It's half off for Exm, but still, this is definitely a problem that I hope is fixed. But that is actually it. I don't like this at all from Exm. This is misleading. To even furthermore my testing, Ryzen Tweaks is the winner in every category. This is unacceptable. It is unacceptable when you have a server of 160,000 people. No. Ryzen Tweaks won. That is actually it though. Goodbye.